gentlemen, thank you so much for giving up your time to our practice, our final practice before we head off to Thailand on Friday. The students, I am extremely proud of them. They have worked really hard and they've been very obedient. I don't think they had a choice, but anyway, but they've been very good, and I've known most of them for quite a long time. I've been teaching some of them since grade 7. So this is a wonderful opportunity for them and for our school, because engaging in this kind of activity will do a lot of them. Will open lots of doors for them in the future, gives them lots of confidence, so that they know what they've been learning, they can put into good use. And this is one good example where they're able to do that. Before I continue to tell you just a little bit about the conference proper, just to inform you that Mrs. Christine has an appointment at 4, so she may, if you see her leave, she's going to another appointment, just so that you know, all right? But the conference, the MUN, that will start on Saturday. There'll be 70 schools represented at the conference. There'll be schools from Thailand, obviously, but there'll be schools from Japan, Nepal, Cambodia, Indonesia, South Korea. There are 2 schools from Indonesia, our school, and Global Jaya in Jakarta. So so there'll be 70 schools that will be attending the conference, and they will have some over 600 persons at the conference on each of the days. There'll be over 600 delegates there, including advisors, and our students will be a part of that. Now there are two kinds of committees that will be part of the conference. They're what we call country committees. For example, the United Nations Security Council, represented by this country. So that's a country committee. All right. So, for example, our delegate for the Security Council is representing South Korea. So that's a country committee. On the other hand, if you take Fanuel, Lace, and Cassie, they are what we call the non-traditional or special committees. All right. So, for example, Lace will be representing the press corps, and so there is no country. Fanuel, the historical crisis committee, there is no country. Interestingly enough, the special committee that will represent the United Kingdom House of Commons, well, they have a country, but it's a special committee. And if I quickly give you an idea what I mean, so the country committees, they provide a platform for delegates of any level of experience to engage in diplomatic discourse and debate in diverse or different political and other global topics. The special committees, the Parliamentary Committee, for example, they replicate, in our case, it will replicate the House of Commons in the United Kingdom. So Cassie will be taking on the role of the leader of the Conservative Party in England during the conference. For the press corps, this allows delegates to form sensibilities as journalists, creating accessibility to the truth and slander as third-party actors in the Thaimun committees. So Lise will actually act as a journalist. She'll be conducting interviews, she'll be involved in press conferences, etc. during the period of the conference. She'll have to write articles that will be published and become part of the Thaimun archives. So the historical committees will delve into pivotal events in history, allowing participants to assume roles of key players in these historical scenarios and Fanuel has 3 different roles that he'll be playing during this conference. For our purposes this afternoon, each of the delegates will be given their opening speech, and this they will also be doing when they get to Thailand, with the exception of the Historical Crisis Committee delegate, because this committee will not be doing any opening speeches there. So the special committees are governed by different set of rules, so to speak. All right? So in addition to each one of them giving a 1-minute speech, opening speech, they'll also be part of putting together resolutions that we passed and discussed and debated during the conference. So they will each present a resolution with 2 exceptions. The Historical Crisis Committee, they will do directives and not resolutions. And the press corps, they'll be basically writing stories and articles, and our representative has an article that she will share with us. So with that in mind, let's begin. And we will begin with the delegate representing the Security Council, who will give his opening speech for 1 minute.
Honorable chairs and fellow delegates, the Republic of Korea is more than honored to attend this meeting today. And in regards to the topic of the self-proclaimed republics of South Ossetia and Abkhazia, the Republic of Korea does not recognize them as autonomous states. The Republic of Korea upholds the principle of territorial integrity, which asserts that every nation-state has the right to maintain control and governance over their own territory. And to address the topic of maintaining security in Nagorno-Karabakh, the Republic of Korea aims to contribute to the resolution of the topics based on dialogue, negotiation, and respect for international laws, providing humanitarian aid to address displaced person needs without aligning itself with either parties involved. Thank you for your time.
Excellent. Thank you. I'll now invite the delegate from UDOSA 1, United Nations Office for Outer Space, representing Latvia.
Honorable chairs and esteemed delegates, Latvia is more than honored to attend this meeting today. Regarding the topic of preventing man-made space pollution and space debris, Latvia adheres for adherence to international guidelines such as the UN Space Debris Mitigation Guidelines to minimize the creation and effects of space debris from satellite launches and space pollution from existing operations. To address the topic of outer space territories between nations, Latvia follows the main governing framework for space activities such as the Outer Space Treaty of 1967 and will not recognize any nation claiming sovereignty over celestial bodies. Thank you.
I now ask the delegate of UDOSA 2, representing Panama.
Honorable chairs and fellow delegates, the delegate of Panama is more than honored to attend this meeting today. Panama would like to address our commitment to prevent man-made space debris and space pollution. Panama recognizes the importance of preserving the space environment and ensure the long-term viability of space exploration and utilization. Panama also believes that space debris and space pollution poses a threat to the sustainability and safety of space activities. Panama would like to strengthen the global cooperations to address this issue. Panama believes through collaborations and implementing the space debris mitigation guidelines, we can ensure a sustainable, safe, and secure space environment for us and the generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Delegate from the ILO, representing the Latvia on the Economic and Social Council.
So distinguished chairs and fellow delegates, so we are faced with pressing issues regarding with protecting migrant workers in conflict zones and improving international working standards. And two of the challenges are keeping migrant workers safe in conflict zones and making sure everyone gets fair treatment at work worldwide. And Latvia, as a member of the international community, is committed to upholding the rights and dignity of all workers, regardless of their origin and status. Latvia cares of all workers, especially those in tough situations like conflict zones. We know that when migrant workers are treated badly, it's not fair and it hurts the world's job market. We understand that everyone should feel welcome at work no matter where they're from. But there are still problems, like reports of people being treated badly at our borders, which makes us look bad internationally. But Latvia promises to protect migrant workers in conflict zones and stresses the need to make work standards work better worldwide. Let's all stick to the rules about fair work and human rights so everyone can be treated well. Thank you.
Thank you. I now invite the delegate representing Senegal on the Economic and Social Council.
Thank you, Chair, for the time. Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates, Senegal is more than honored to attend this meeting today. In regards to the question of job security in response to AI, Senegal is expressing optimism towards the potential AI has create new jobs and improving productivity. Senegal is aware of the potential harm AI can cause to the job market, but is also ensuring that AI is used in a way that can benefit their population and create new opportunities for growth and development. Addressing the questions of colonial policies and developed economies, Senegal firmly believes that colonial policies must prioritize the well-being of the family and individuals involved, ensuring that they are capable of making the right decisions when it comes to reproductive choices. Such policies should be grounded in principles of gender equality, social justice, and reproductive rights, and should aim to create supportive environments that enable individuals to balance work, family, and personal interests. All in all, Senegal is grateful for having a chance to contribute to the decisions of job security in response to AI and colonial policies in developed economies. Senegal now yields the floor back to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you. I now ask the delegate from the Economic and Financial Committee representing Rwanda.
Honorable chairs and esteemed delegates, Rwanda is honored to join this meeting on the question of the impact of digital currencies and cryptocurrencies on global finance. Rwanda acknowledges the significance digital currencies and cryptocurrencies has on global finance. It is important for us to acknowledge and also the opportunities and challenges that these innovations have. And while digital currencies have the profit of fostering financial inclusions and innovations, we cannot overlook the inherent risks that they pose to the stability of financial systems. Cryptocurrencies being decentralized raises concerns around it being regulated, around consumer protection, and the potential for illicit activities such as money laundering and terrorism financing. On the question of addressing the debt crisis in developing economies, the burden of debt in developing economies, including Rwanda, isn't a statistic, but a reality that impedes our progress and undermines our efforts. Rwanda is a nation that has made various strides in economic development despite facing numerous challenges. Rwanda stands ready to collaborate with the international community in finding sustainable solutions to the crisis in developing economies. Thank you. That is all for me.
Thank you. I now like to invite the delegate of the Special Political and Decolonization Committee representing Senegal.
Honorable chairs, esteemed delegates, Senegal is more than honored to attend this meeting today. In regards to the question of the annexation of occupied territories by Israel, Senegal decides to remain neutral on the situation. Although Senegal has had a long history of supporting and good relations with Palestine, such as calling for Israel's withdrawal in 1982 and 2016, Senegal decides to not side with Israel nor Palestine. However, the situation remains to be important to Senegal, and Senegal hopes to seek a more peaceful resolution between the two sides to avoid anyone getting harmed. To address the question of achieving economic decolonization in Francophone Africa, as a Francophone African country, Senegal has had many historic relations with France, mostly due to colonization, and now France remains Senegal's main economic partner. However, Senegal also acknowledges that the colonization has left a big impact on the global south. Senegal has made efforts in expanding economic partners and encourages the rest of Francophone Africa to do the same in order to achieve a more sustainable economy. All in all, Senegal is grateful for having a chance to contribute to the decisions of the question of the annexation of occupied territories by Israel and the question of achieving economic decolonization in Francophone Africa. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to ask a delegate representing the United Kingdom Parliamentary Committee, House of Commons.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Chair, and fellow delegates. Right now, the UKPC continues to receive multiple problems and challenges that are rapidly changing and created more problems. Now, right now, the three main problems are, first, the electoral system. The first point to pass system right now is facing some opposition from political parties. But right now, it is not urgent to reform the the FP2P system, since right now it works well for the past few decades. Second, the Scottish referendum. Right now, the Scottish are requesting for a second referendum, but in our best opinion, it would be best to unite the ties with Scotland rather than severing ties with them, since there are a lot of unstable factors that could affect the economy and the social ties right now. The last one, national immigrant crisis. Migrants illegally entering UK and could affect the economy and social situations right now in the UK. Now, to prevent this problem, we need to move the refugees somewhere else where they could create new opportunities without potentially endangering other countries. Now, in the end, I suggest that we should furthermore explore and discuss various alternative solutions regarding these three current problems. That is all. Thank you for the time. I now yield my time back to the chair.
Thank you. And I'd like to ask a representative from the press corps representing Channel News Asia.
Esteemed chairs, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I stand today as a representative of Channel News Asia, a media organization committed to delivering news with journalistic integrity. We address an issue at the very core of information and diplomacy, addressing media bias and the role of public opinion on international diplomacy. In the age of instantaneous communication, the influence of the media on public opinion cannot be downplayed. Biases in reporting can shape narratives impacting the delicate world of international relations. Channel News Asia understands the responsibility we bear in this matter. We advocate for unbiased reporting, working to present diverse and complete perspectives and foster a deeper understanding of global affairs. In addressing this challenge, we advocate for collaborative efforts to promote transparency and condemn misinformation. It is crucial to reinforce the principles of journalistic ethics, ensuring that the media serves as a tool for informed decision-making rather than a source of discord. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd now like to ask the delegates to present their resolutions, beginning with the representative of the Security Council. Each delegate will have a maximum of 3 minutes only.
The topic for my resolution is the question of the self-proclaimed republics of South Ossetia and Abkhazia. After the independence of South Ossetia and Abkhazia in the year 1992, it has led to many conflicts and ongoing tension towards the minority population within the territories, highlighting the border issue of sovereignty, territorial integrity, and minority rights within the region. This resolution is aimed to address the human rights issue and protection of minority populations within the disputed territories. The resolutions include 1.1, calling upon all parties and communities involved in the South Ossetia-Abkhazia conflict to fully respect the rights of minority populations according to the international human rights standards and obligations. 1.2, urging the government of Georgia to take effective measures to ensure the protection and promotion of minority rights within its territory. 1.3, encouraging the de facto authorities in South Ossetia and Abkhazia to uphold the rights of minority populations under their control. 1.4, calling for enhanced international assistance and cooperations in support of efforts to protect and promote minority rights in South Ossetia and Abkhazia. 1.5, stressing the importance of engaging with civil society organizations, including non-governmental organizations and grassroots initiatives, and efforts to promote peace and reconciliation in South Ossetia and Abkhazia. 1.6, highlighting the need to safeguard the cultural heritage and identity of minority communities in South Ossetia and Abkhazia, including their language, traditions, and historical sites, and calling upon all parties to respect and preserve these cultural assets. And 1.7, encouraging initiatives aimed at promoting education, awareness, and tolerance among different ethnic and religion groups in South Ossetia and Abkhazia, including through curriculum development, intercultural exchanges, and public awareness campaigns. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I would like to invite the delegate from the Outer Space Committee.
Acknowledging the increasing concern over the proliferation of man-made space debris and its potential impact on space exploration, satellite operations, and Earth's orbital environment, recognizing the critical importance of preserving the integrity and sustainability of outer space for present and future generations, affirming the principle outlined in the Outer Space Treaty of 1967, which includes the responsibility of states to avoid harmful contamination of space and celestial bodies, emphasizing the need for international cooperation and collective action to address the challenges posed by space debris and pollution. Latvia urges all member states of the United Nations to enhance transparency and information sharing regarding space missions, including the deployment and disposal of satellites and space assets, develop and implement national regulations or guidelines to mitigate the generation of space debris during satellite launches, operations, and end-of-life disposal, encourages the development of public-private partnerships to foster innovation in the design and operation of satellites and space infrastructure with a focus on sustainability and environmental responsibility. Establish voluntary industry standards and certification mechanisms to incentivize adherence to best practices for space debris mitigation. Calls upon relevant international organizations, including the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, the International Telecommunication Union, and the European Space Agency to provide technical assistance and capacity building support to developing countries to enhance their capabilities in space debris monitoring and mitigation, facilitate the exchange of information and expertise among member states to promote the implementation of effective space debris mitigation measures, invites the scientific community and academia to conduct research on the long-term environmental impact of space debris and space pollution, including potential effects on Earth's atmospheres and ecosystems. Develop innovation solutions for space debris remediation and sustainable space exploration, taking into account both technological and policy considerations. Request the Secretary General of the United Nations to include the issue of space debris and space pollution on the agenda of relevant United Nations meetings and conferences to raise awareness and foster international cooperation. Compile and
Time. Thank you very much, delegate. So I'd say delegate representing Panama on the Outer Space Committee.
The delegate of Panama would like to read out a resolution regarding preventing man-made space debris and space pollution. Recognizing the increasing challenges posed by man-made space debris and space pollution, which have the potential to jeopardize the sustainability of outer space activities, deeply apprehensive about how space debris would affect satellite communication, space exploration, and other space-based operations in the long run in terms of sustainability and safety, emphasizing the importance of international cooperation and coordination to address the issue of space debris and space pollution, acknowledging the significant efforts made by international community, including initiatives such as space debris mitigation guidelines of the United Nations on the peaceful use of outer space, or the COPUOS. The delegate of Panama hereby resolves, number 1, urges all member states to enhance their national policies and regulations regarding the mitigation of space debris, including the adoption and implementation of best practices outlined in the space debris mitigation guidelines. Number 2, calls upon member states to collaborate on research and development of technologies aimed at actively removing space debris and to share information and data on space objects to facilitate better tracking and collision avoidance. Number 3, encourages the establishment of international partnerships for the development and implementation of space debris monitoring and mitigation technology, with a particular emphasis on capacity building and in developing countries. Number 4, invites member states to contribute to the funding of international initiatives and projects aimed at preventing and mitigating space debris and to support the work of COPUOS in developing guidelines and standards in this regard. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate from the ILO, Economic and Social Council.
The delegate of Latvia would like to present a draft resolution about safe and fair treatment for migrant workers. Remembering everyone deserves to be treated with respect, knowing migrant workers help economies thrive, alarmed by the dangers migrant workers face in war zones, and concerned about unfair treatment of migrant workers who house in homes, Latvia proposes to, number 1, reaffirms all countries must protect migrant workers, even those without proper documents. Number 2, calls for stronger cooperation to help migrant workers save during wars. Number 3, urges countries to develop plans with the help from others to protect migrant workers in war zones. Number 2, warn people about dangers early and have good plans to evacuate them safely if needed, and include clear rules protecting migrant workers in peace agreements. Number 4, encourages countries to follow existing international rules to protect migrant workers, especially domestic workers. Make laws that guarantee fair wages, breaks, and decent work conditions for migrant workers. Stop unfair treatment of domestic workers. Help domestic workers learn the local language and understand their rights, and work together to end unfair practices when hiring domestic workers. Last but not least, request the Secretary General to collect and share successful ideas on protecting migrant workers in war zones. Create a worldwide list of best practices to improve working conditions of domestic workers. Conduct a major study on challenges faced by domestic workers and recommend solutions. Latvia looks forward to engaging in constructive dialogue with fellow delegates to refine and strengthen these proposals for the betterment of the international community. Thank you.
Thank you. Economic and Social Council, Delegate from Senegal.
Thank you for the time. Recognizing the gravity of addressing the challenges posed by artificial intelligence, the job security, and the demographic concerns related to pronatal policies in developed economies, acknowledging the potential impacts of AI on the global workforce and the need to ensure sustainable employment opportunities, emphasizing the importance of fostering inclusive economic growth and social development, taking into consideration the demographic shifts and declining birth rates in several developed economies, affirming the principles of equality, non-discrimination, and human rights in all aspects of policymaking, reaffirming the commitments made under the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, particularly Goal 8, decent work and economic growth, and Goal 10, reduced inequalities. 1, establishes the Joint Task Force on AI, Job Security, and Demographic Trends, comprised of representatives from relevant UN agencies, member states, academia, civil society, with the mandate to A, conduct comprehensive research and analysis on the impact of AI on job security and demographic trends, with a specific focus on developed economies and the implications for global development. B, identify policy recommendations and best practices to address the challenges posed by AI to job security and to promote sustainable employment opportunities. C, explore innovative approaches to encourage fertility rate and address demographic challenges in developed economies, including but not limited to pronatal policies and family-friendly workplace initiatives. 2, urges member states, including developed economies, to A, develop comprehensive strategies and policies to mitigate the adverse effects of AI on job security, including investments in education, training, and lifelong learning programs to equip the workforce with skills for the digital age. B. Implement inclusive labor market policies that prioritize the rights and well-being of workers, including adequate social protection, fair wages, and opportunities for career advancement. C. Foster environments conducive to family life by implementing pro-natal policies such as parental leave, affordable childcare, and flexible work arrangements to support families in balancing work and caregiving responsibilities. 3. Encourages developed economies to A. Promote gender equality and women's empowerment in the workforce by eliminating discriminatory practices and creating supportive environments for women to pursue careers and family lives simultaneously. B. Invest in public health systems and social services to provide comprehensive support to families, including access to healthcare, reproductive services, and early childhood education. C. Strengthen international cooperation and exchange of the best practices in addressing demographic challenges and promoting sustainable development, including through partnerships with developing countries facing similar issues. 4. Calls upon the private sector to A. Engage in responsible AI development and deployment practices that prioritize ethical consideration, human
Time.
rights.
Thank you very much, Delegate. I'd like to invite the delegate from the Economic and Financial Committee representing Rwanda.
For the question of the impact of digital currencies and cryptocurrencies on global finance, Rwanda is acknowledging the growing significance of digital currencies and cryptocurrencies in the global financial landscape. We are also recognizing the potential benefits of digital finance innovations in enhancing financial inclusion, promoting economic growth, and facilitating cross-border transactions. We are also deeply concerned about the risks and challenges posed by digital currencies and cryptocurrencies to the stability of national and global financial systems, including issues related to money laundering, terrorist financing, and tax evasion, and we're also affirming the importance of international cooperation and coordinated action to address the impact of digital currencies and cryptocurrencies on global finance. 1. We call upon member states to strengthen regulatory frameworks for digital currencies and cryptocurrencies in line with international standards and best practices to mitigate risk and ensure the integrity, transparency, and stability of financial markets. We also urge international financial institutions such as the IMF and the FATF to provide technical assistance and capacity building support to member states in developing and implementing effective regulatory measures for digital currencies and cryptocurrencies with a focus on promoting financial inclusions and combating illicit financial activities. 3. Encourage member states to promote financial literacy and awareness programs to educate the public about the risks and opportunities associated with digital currencies and cryptocurrencies and to enhance cybersecurity measures to protect digital assets and financial infrastructure from cyber threats. 4. We call upon the inclusion of digital currencies and cryptocurrencies on the agenda of regional and international forums such as the African Union and the United States Economic Commission for Africa to facilitate policy dialogue and cooperation among African countries and international partners on regulatory and development issues related to digital finance. 5. We also invite member states to explore the potential of central bank digital currencies as a tool for promoting financial inclusion, improving the efficiency of payment systems, enhancing the effectiveness of monetary policies, while ensuring compliance with international standards and principles of monetary sovereignty. 6. We also further invite member states to support research and innovation in financial technology, such as fintech and digital finance, including through public-private partnerships, academic collaborations, and funding initiatives with a focus on leveraging digital currencies and cryptocurrencies to address development challenges and promote sustainable economic growth. That is all for me.
Thank you, Delegate. Now then, invite the delegate from the Special Political and Decolonization Committee representing Senegal.
Thank you for the time. Aware of the principles established in the Charter of the United Nations, particularly those regarding the respect for the sovereignty of all states, recognizing the ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestine, and the need for a peaceful resolution in accordance with international law and relevant UN resolutions, emphasizing the importance of achieving economic decolonization to ensure sustainable development, eradicate poverty, and promote equitable socio-economic growth in Francophone Africa, acknowledging the responsibility of the international community to support the efforts of advancing peace, stability, and development. 1. Calls upon all parties involved in the Israel-Palestinian conflict to continue under international law, including the Charter of the United Nations, relevant UN resolutions, and the Geneva Conventions, and to refrain from any actions that may further escalate tensions or undermine prospects for a peaceful resolution. 2. urges Israel to immediately halt all activities related to the annexation of occupied territories, including the expansion of settlements, the confiscation of land, and the demolition of Palestinian homes and infrastructure, and to engage in good faith negotiations with Palestinian Authority with the aim of reaching a just and lasting solution. 3. Calls upon the international community, including the United Nations, regional organizations, and relevant stakeholders to intensify their efforts to facilitate meaningful negotiations between the parties, and to provide support for confidence-building measures, humanitarian assistance, and capacity-building initiatives aimed at enhancing peace and stability in the region. 4. Encourages Francophone African countries to prioritize economic decolonization efforts through sustainable development strategies, investment in human capital, infrastructure development, and the promotion of inclusive economic policies that empower local communities, foster entrepreneurship, and create opportunities for sustainable livelihoods. 5. Calls upon the international community, including international financial institutions, bilateral and multilateral donors, and the private sector, to provide technical and financial support to Francophone African countries in their efforts to achieve economic decolonization tailored to the specific needs and priorities of each country. And 6. Calls for the establishment of a mechanism within the United Nations system in collaboration with regional organizations and relevant stakeholders to monitor the progress in the implementation of this resolution, and to provide regular reports to the General Assembly on the situation in the occupied territories and the efforts to achieve economic decolonization in Francophone Africa. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I'd like to invite the delegate representing the United Kingdom Parliamentary Committee, House of Commons.
The Modern Scotland Act 2024. Authors Penny Morgan and Kevin Furley. The Modern Scotland Act 2024 is an act to make a provision regarding Scotland's independence, constitutional and economic aspect, including provision for regulation and international relations, to make provision for the Scottish Parliament and for connected purposes. Be it enacted by the Queen's and Most Excellent Majesty, and the device and consent of the Lord Spiritual and Temporal and Commons in this present Parliament assembled, and by the authority by the same, as follows. 1. Constitutional. Scotland do not have the rights to hold an independence referendum if Scotland does not have the consent of the British government. 2. Scotland does not have the consent of the European Union. B. Scotland will need to 1. Hold a discussion regarding their constitutional regulation with the presence of the British government. 2. Hold a discussion regarding their constitutional regulation with the presence of the European Union. 2. Economic. Scotland will have to prepare the logistics, finance, agriculture, and many related things, and other related things before initiating the second referendum if the second referendum is permitted. 3. International relations. Scotland will discuss about the nation's partnership and alliance under the supervision of the British government and the European Union. 4. Further provisions. 8. The Scottish Parliament shall be responsible for overseeing the implementation of provisions outlined in this Act and shall have the authority to enact any necessary regulation to ensure compliance. B. The British government shall provide necessary support and resources to facilitate discussions between Scotland and the European Union regarding constitutional regulations and international relations. C. The European Union shall engage in constructive dialogue with Scotland to address concern and foster cooperation in matters related to independence and international relations. Commencement and duration. This Act shall come into effect immediately upon receiving royal assent and shall remain in force until such time as it is repealed or amended by subsequent legislation. Conclusion. In conclusion, the Modern Scotland Act 2024 seeks to provide a comprehensive framework for addressing Scotland's constitutional, economic, and international relations aspect, while ensuring transparency, cooperation, and adherence to legal and democratic principles. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll ask the delegate representing the Historical Crisis Committee to present his directive.
esteemed chairs, distinguished delegates, I, Gennady Yanayev, amidst this tumultuous time, cognizant of the new perestroika and Glenis policy to restructure and promote openness and transparency in the Soviet society by Michael Gorbachev himself. We strongly believe that it weakens the authority of the Communist Party, aware that it may or may not lead to the disintegration of the Soviet Union, which we sought to prevent. Realizing that the only way to prevent this from happening is through overtaking the current government by force and to steer away from this issue, urging that these 10 quick measures be taken in order to prevent what is worse to come. First of all, organize an effective coup to overtake the government and to resolve all past policies by the formal government coup. 2, to seek support from the key people, the key figures, key military and KGB units, and the rest of the opposition to start a coup. Thirdly, restrain key figures who are backing Michael Gorbachev himself and his policies, and to eliminate the current government who are against the coup. 4, maintain civil order to implement measures for public safety and to prevent public backlash and conflict to avoid civilian campaigns of anti-authoritarian protesters. 5th, affirming reports and accountability to provide updates on logistics and coup updates, ensure transparency and accountability in all actions to prevent moles, spies, double agents, and to update regularly on the process. 6th, assessment on the political landscape. First of all, this is to analyze the potential consequences of the coup on the stability and the future of the Soviet Union, as well as its implications for regional and global geopolitics. 7th, engage in a diplomatic outreach to international allies and organizations to garner support for the restoration of democratic governance and condemnation of the current government. 8th, to develop contingency plans to address potential scenarios including the escalation of violence or military interventions. 9th, to establish rapid response mechanisms and emergency protocols to coordinate crisis management efforts and ensure effective decision making in real time. And 10th, ensure transparency and accountability in all actions undertaken. Our success in leading this coup hinges upon our ability to execute these directives with precision and with determination. Yet I still have a glimpse of hope that we can still restore this nation and bring back the motherland to its former glory, to what was once a feared country. While there will be hurdles and obstacles ahead of us, we shall remain steadfast in our resolve as we march forward to reshape the course of history. That is all. Thank you.
Finally, I'd like to ask the delegate representing the press corps.
So I wrote an article on our topic addressing media bias in journalism about the new era in journalism, talking about AI and stuff like that. In an era where technology continues to redefine the landscape of journalism, industry leaders are actively engaging with the challenges posed by the rise of AI-generated news to ensure that information remains accessible, accurate, and ethically sound. AI has seamlessly integrated into news production, providing unethical yet innovative solutions for content creation, analysis, and dissemination. Automated writing, powered by natural language processing, and virtual reporters have become integral components in newsrooms worldwide, enhancing efficiency and speed in delivering information to audiences. Recent data and observations reveals a significant surge in the utilization of AI-generated news algorithms across media platforms, with a notable increase in automated content production. This surge, while promising, has sparked ethical concerns within the industry, demanding a critical examination of the unintended consequences of algorithmic journalism. The impact of AI-generated news on accessibility cannot be overlooked. While advancements in technology hold the promise of revolutionizing information dissemination, questions arise about whether everyone has equal access to this evolving landscape. Recent studies indicate a growing digital divide, emphasizing the need to address potential exclusions and biases introduced by AI technologies. Recognizing the global nature of information dissemination, advocates are pushing for the establishment of a comprehensive global regulatory framework. Recent data highlights a growing consensus within the industry, emphasizing the need for ethical standards that ensure transparency, accountability, and the protection of diverse voices in the evolving realm of AI-generated news. In addition to advocating for global standards, there's a recognition for the importance of media literacy and empowering the public to navigate the digital landscape. Surveys indicate a critical need for educational initiatives that enhance digital literacy, particularly in the discernment of AI-generated content. As the industry stands at the precipice of a new era in journalism, there's a call for a collective action to navigate the ethical challenges posed by AI-generated news. recent data trends, and industry insights inform this collective endeavor, aiming to champion a future where technological innovation aligns seamlessly with responsibility. The industry will continue to engage with this issue, providing updates and insights as the discussion on AI-generated news evolves. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all delegates. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. These are delegates that we will be representing our school at the Thaimun conference, and we leave on Friday morning, and the conference begins on Saturday, and to be on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and we leave Thailand on Monday evening, and we will arrive in Georgia on Thursday morning. Tuesday, on Tuesday, we arrive on Wednesday. You almost got a heart attack. So that's the plan, and thank you very much again for your time. And we do appreciate your trust in our school to take your children to there for a few days and to bring them back safely. And I'm sure they will do us all very proud. So thank you again. Thank you for your time. Oh. Okay, we thank Mrs. Christine for staying. Thank you very much. So, in addition to Indonesia,